That's what he called it. Freak offs, dude.
Gross.
Sucking each other's the dudes and which is like really gross, but not that dumb if you think about it. If what you're after is power, you know?
Because you have it all on tape.
Dude, you
have the leverage.
It's honestly, if you're in that game, it's worth it. Like, you know, you're like, come on, dog, all of us do it. And then as soon as the guy does it, you're like, I own you forever now.
Got you for life.
I got you forever. Diddy diddled his way to jail. So, dude, someone actually saw him out, and he looked pretty fucking chill, man. He looked just like, hey, guys.
Wait, he's not in jail?
No. He's gonna be in jail, but not yet. Yeah, they like, so they raided his houses, and which always 100% of the time means
that they have an airtight case.
They are coming for sure.
Yeah,
and he knows that. It's really surprising to me that they haven't arrested. I mean, I guess they're. You know,
do we get to know what they were looking for in the raid? I honestly haven't even looked into it.
Listen to this. Okay, so they said that it's part of a sex trafficking case.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's been the line all along. Yeah, it's part of an ongoing sex trafficking case. Well, one thing that everyone forgot about, I just did a video about this. Everyone forgot about the fact that 3 months before that, the guy who murdered Tupac, who has been on every podcast in the world for the last 6 years, being like, yeah, man, I can't believe I'm talking about this, but yeah, we killed Tupac. And they definitely did it because...
How is this happening?
How did it take this long for him to get arrested is the real question. Like, when I get into the details of that in a second...
He is arrested now?
He's arrested, 100%. Arrested, charged with the murder of Tupac.
Like recently?
3 months ago. And
but he's on podcasts?
He was on podcasts for years talking about it, which is, and it's like, I'm pretty sure there's no statute of limitations on committing first degree murder, not to mention committing a murder on one of the most famous people ever. Anyway.
Wild.
So, but his story, the thing he was always talking about on all the podcasts was that that Diddy had told him he'd pay him $1 million to kill Tupac and Suge, and that he never got paid. Okay. And so when you like, now that he's rung up, you're telling me that he's not going to testify against Puff? Like, of course he is. What, like, he's been saying it on, like, they make cases on people for way less than that. They've got the guy they know committed the murder on record, like, yeah, Puff paid me.
And the guy who ordered the hit.
How are they possibly not going to charge him for that? So I didn't even think about that like part of the raid very easily could be related to that, you know? I mean, most likely they're after the tapes because he was taping everybody. You know, they do these freak offs and they were like, taping everybody. That's what he called it. Freak offs, dude.
Gross.
Sucking each other's dicks, the dudes and shit. Which is like really gross, but not that dumb if you think about it. If what you're after is power, you know?
Because you have it all on tape.
Dude, you
have the leverage.
It's honestly, if you're in that game, it's worth it. Like, you know, you're like, come on, dog, all of us do it. And then as soon as the guy does it, you're like, I own you forever now.
Got you for life.
I got you forever. Hey, and the whole time I was pretending you were a girl in my mind. So how you like them apples?
So I'm not even gay.
Got you. Got you. Got you. You know, but
oh man.
But yeah, so like he is gonna get rung up for that. And they expanded the probe. Do you remember when he was together with Jennifer Lopez and there was that shooting in the club?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Another rapper went down for it. So all along, they've been saying that, like, there was a bunch of people who were like, I watched Puffy shoot that girl. The girl who got shot has always been like, he's the one who shot me. She got paid out by Puff too. So now the feds are expanding their investigation into that shooting again. So you have the victim straight up on record. She's like, Puff's the one who did it. I watched him shoot. I saw him shoot me. He stashed the gun with J-Lo. So and then like, I don't know, he got...
That make her an accessory?
She didn't get charged. He beat the case. Shine went down for the shooting.
Jenny from the block.
Dude, can you imagine how fucking scared she must have been?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't care if she's from the block, dude. You're not like... She's not a person who's been involved in a fucking shooting like that before. And then it's like, here, hold the gun. She's all... you know? And then she got arrested that night. She got put in the box that night. She must have been scared shitless. She's like, I went there to flex
just
and
have
be
a nice
J-Lo,
time at the club.
and then some fucking, local Brooklyn drug dealer, got pissed off that Puffy was flexing on everybody, and they shot at each other, and a girl got shot in the face. So, now, in addition to the sex trafficking stuff, he is getting investigated for an attempted murder that the victim is saying he did, a first-degree murder that the murderer is saying that he did.
Is it first-degree murder if you call the hit on someone but don't actually do it? Like, or is there a different charge?
Oh no! If you, it's conspiracy to commit first-degree murder.
Okay.
Yeah. So like he, according to this guy whose name is Keefy D.
What a name!
I know. So here's exactly what happened. Right. This is okay. I'll tell you what Keefy D said, and then what we know happened. So Keefy D said that Puff had enlisted him because the reason that he got enlisted is because he was a leader in the Los Angeles Crip gang, right? Suge and all them are Bloods, so they were already rivals, and Puff enlisted these guys to protect them when they were in LA or whatever, right?
Okay.
So and then he put a price on those guys' heads.
I need to hush my phone. Sorry.
And then what ended up happening that night in Vegas is there was this dude named Orlando Anderson who, it's unbelievable that I remember all this shit from back then, but we were talking about Snoop last time with Walda Merriam, but Orlando Anderson is a dude who was also in that Crip gang, and him and his boys had jumped someone in death row and stolen their death row chain. And he was wearing it. Right, in Vegas. So this is the night of the Mike Tyson fight in '96. He fought both of that night. I think it was both of them. So in the MGM, I think they were in the MGM where we're going in a week and a half. Someone saw Orlando Anderson wearing the death row chain. Suge, Tupac, and a huge gang of guys rolled up on him. They have this whole thing on fucking video. Like all of them just rolled up and Tupac just in the front like, and they just jumped. They fucked this dude up, right? Beat his ass, took the chain. So then they get into the car and they're driving to some other club. And on the way there, Cadillac pulls up next to him. They shoot, kill Tupac. And Keefy D is the cousin of Orlando Anderson. Keefy D is driving the car. Orlando Anderson, the one who they beat the shit out of, is the one in the back. He's the one who shot and killed him. And then so Keefy D. Now, how it took them 20 years to put this together, when it's like, literally, you have it on fucking tape that they beat the shit out of this dude.
Hours
before. And they're like, God, I don't know. We just can't seem to pin a case on anyone.
Who would want to do this?
Ugh. And it took like, so there's this other guy who is an LAPD detective who ended up quitting the force over this because he solved both murders, the Tupac and the Biggie murder, and they wouldn't charge the people involved for a whole other reason.
Why?
That's a great question. That is a very interesting answer too. So he ended up quitting the force. I'm friends with a guy that I talk to through email all the time. Who's an old school LAPD detective who's friends with this guy. Tells me all kinds of very interesting stories. But I watched a documentary about this also. So anyway, so that guy quit the force, but he solved that murder and they wouldn't charge it. And then it ended up taking fucking Keefy D going on like 10 different podcasts. Like, yeah, man.
Like, I did it.
Yeah, he's all, yeah, man, we shot.
I think he might be the guy.
Yeah, they're like, what do you think? Like, should we go arrest him, given that he's admitting on video that he committed first-degree murder?
Several times.
Yeah, because like, so the difference between second-degree murder is if they would have pulled a gun in the moment that they jumped him and shot him, second-degree murder. They get into the car and go hunt for him and find him, shoot him, kill him, first-degree murder.
I do know that.
So that's what it was. Okay, so now the story about why they did not charge in LA is fucking fascinating. Like this is one of the craziest stories in the history of fucking policing in general. So have you ever heard of the Rampart Crash Unit?
I don't think so.
Are you aware that the movie Training Day, you've seen Training Day, correct? Very uncomfortable movie for you to watch, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't really remember it, but I know I've seen it.
Yeah. I know what movies you like. I bet you do not like that movie. That movie is all about putting people in incredibly uncomfortable positions where they're under threat all the time, and
it's stressful.
It's stressful for me to watch. It's an incredible movie, dude. And so Denzel Washington's character, whose name is escaping me in the movie, like that whole movie is based on a real story. Like that shit actually happened. They're the most corrupt unit like ever. So Crash, they had crash units all over the city. I can't remember exactly what the acronym was, but they were all anti-gang task force, and they would go out and beat the living fuck out of, like, they would do, it was like the streets were out of control, clean them up.
Yeah.
Any means necessary, right? And so they were going out, they were planting guns on people, they were fucking killing people, they were beating the living fuck out of these gang members, they were framing gang members, like it was like so they like successfully cleaned up the streets, but their methods were so wildly illegal, it was crazy. Like they were just a gang. They were a gang with the backing of They were a gang. Yeah. The way that they ended up getting exposed is an undercover police officer, LA police department, is driving. He has some kind of like vehicle altercation with some gang member, right? He like pulls over, whatever, and this guy comes up and is like, and has gold teeth. He's all, fuck you. And this cop tries to avoid it. And then the guy brandishes a gun, chases him down, and this guy shoots and kills the gang member. And it's a fucking crash unit guy. One of the guy, like the guy that he shot he was like, this guy is a gang member. It was a fucking crash unit cop.
Wow.
So that's what started the investigation and ended up opening the whole book. So anyway, so the two main guys in the crash unit were this guy named Rafael Perez, and he is the one that Denzel Washington's based after, and this other guy, Thomas Mack. And they were like, Thomas Mack is a fucking blood and a leader in the crash unit, dude.
Sweet.
So the shortest way to tell this is the Rampart Crash guys, the Bloods, like Thomas Mack and them, were doing work with and for Death Row Records, okay? Because they're Bloods. Like, he's a Blood. Yeah. He also robbed a bank. Like, he robbed a bank for $750,000. This guy, Thomas Mack, who was one of these Rampart Crash guys. Rafael Perez, his partner, gets popped in stealing a kilogram of blow out of the evidence room and selling it, right? Like, they were doing all this shit, like, whatever, right? And when he gets caught, he's facing fucking forever, and he flips and starts talking. It's like the biggest scandal in LAPD history, obviously. Like they've got like, dude, the stories that they told are so crazy. Like they took a 13-year-old gang member and used his head as a battering ram and put his head through a wall. Oh my God. They shot and they killed guys. They shot and paralyzed an unarmed guy, then planted a gun on him and sent him to jail. Like, so they shot him. He had no gun. They planted a gun on him. He's paralyzed for life. And then they sent him to jail. Like, that guy got out and ended up getting, I don't know, $10, $20 million from the city. Jesus. Like, shit like that. Yeah. So. This was the 90s? This was the early 90s? Late 90s, early 2000s, yeah. Oh. Okay. So how this all connects is that's who killed Notorious B.I.G. is Thomas Mack's cousin, who's an assassin. Okay. So the Thomas Mack guy, the police, they used straight up police tactics to fucking corner Big, shoot and kill him, get the fuck out of there. So it was the Rampart Crash guys who led an assassin team that killed Notorious B.I.G. And so when this detective in the LAPD solved it, this guy, when they solved it, they were like, we can't take another hit like that. Thomas Mack had already gone down for the bank robbery. Rafael Perez had already been exposed, was doing time there, and he's in witness protection. Like the whole unit had already gone down. And they were like, no fucking way. Yeah. No fucking way. The LAPD policeman shot and killed fucking Notorious B.I.G.
Even if it is the story, it's not the story.
There's no way that we're putting that one out. So they buried it. And then, when they buried that, they also, I think the reason why they did the Tupac one could have just been incompetence, but it was also potentially connected to, because they were like, stop doing Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. The guy ended up quitting the force over it. Wow. How fucking crazy is that entire story?
It's nuts. It sounds like a movie.
It is a movie. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. It is a movie. I mean, I knew the whole thing before. They just put that movie out recently, but...
Oh, it is a movie now?
They did actually make a movie about it recently.
What's the movie?
I can't remember. I'll look it up, but it was good. This is the kind of thing that I know such an abnormal amount about that when I hear myself tell stories about it, where I'm like, this is so weird that I know all this. You know?
I mean, it was about that time of life where you would remember those things.
This is not a remember type. This is like hours of embarrassing obsessive research.
I get that. Yeah.
Do you know are there any stories that have happened that you know like that level of detail about?
Probably. Nothing off the top of my head, but probably. You know me with my research brain. Like, I go down rabbit holes. Mine's typically about information.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I'm much more information based. You're like relationship based, and that's the craziest, weirdest relationship story
People.
ever. Yeah.
People.
Mm-hmm.
And I always just like to think about those stories and then be like, what would I do? And I've told you this a million times. If I was ever in an anti-gang task force unit where there was a corrupt leader, I would have been the most corrupt motherfucker on the face of the earth, dude. That's why I actually feel bad for those guys, because I really like. Why? I mean, I don't feel bad for them, in that they take gang members and smash their fucking heads in. I'm saying that like, when they get caught and their lives get, they just, dude, they're fucking
over.
Dude, the guy in Baltimore who led the Baltimore one, very similar story. He's doing 30 years or something like that.
In solitary or something, because cops in their pen probably don't do very well.
They can't lock them up regular. Think about those Rampart guys. Like, not only were they cops, they were cops that fucking killed
a bunch of,
half the guys there have a cousin that they fucking paralyzed or whatever. But yeah, dude, if you gave me that level of power and then you put in my brain that the people that I'm victimizing are bad guys.
Yeah, and you are the law, but you're also above the law, like you're untouchable. Yeah, that would not be a good combination for your younger self.
Yeah, or me
or
now.
even this self.
Yeah, because I know what it is like the people that we're going after are bullies. It's like they're bullies. And so it'd be like, oh, they're fucking bullies. You want to see what getting bullied
You want
looks
to see
like?
bullying? I'll show you. Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. Like, I would never be in their position bullying helpless people. Like, I could never do that. Like, people who are like helpless victims, I could never bully them.
Right.
But you fucking give me the opportunity to get straight up evil on bullies and I would do it. And then also it's like, oh, here's some fucking money in a drug dealer's house. I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll turn that. Yeah, I'll turn that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking right. So...
Crazy.
What would you do? You would fail.
I would not do good at that.
You would not be good at being corrupt.
No.
You would think you're going to get caught all the time.
100% of the time.
Yeah.
Be the most awkward, obvious. Yeah.
We would literally we'd find a bag of money in the middle of the forest.
Gotta turn it in.
There's no one around. You're like, dude, we got to turn this in. I'm like, why? You're like, because they're going to know. I'm like, there are two of us here and there's $100,000 in a bag.
I might keep that.
Yeah?
I might keep that.
You don't think you'd be scared?
No.
I think that you would be like, what if they're filming us?
Maybe. Yeah, I probably would say that.
You're a good girl. You're a good girl.
That's why this works.
It is, dude.
Gotta have some balance.
You do have to have balance. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and you'll know next time me and my beautiful wife put out more episodes of Play with Matches.